Imagine what it would be like to have one insight that will relieve you from the burden of your insecurity. Think about it. You might have heard of Sydney Banks, the originator of the three principles: mind, consciousness, and thought. Sydney said that we are only one thought away from happiness and one thought away from sadness. The secret lies in thought. Is the missing link that everybody in this world is looking for. It's a gift that was given to us to have the freedom to walk through life and see what we want to see. How much better than that can you get? To walk through life and see what you want to see, to be a free thinker. In his book, The Missing Link, Sydney Banks said, among the gifts given to us are the powers of free will and free thought. And yet, the same gifts can become our biggest weakness. We often lack of strength to change our minds and getting stuck in negative thought patterns and behaviors of the past. Therefore, you are a free thinker and you have a free will. You're free to decide what thoughts to pay attention to and what thoughts to bring to life. You're free to act on a thought or not. I remember a beautiful metaphor. It's about a tree with its leaves, branches, and roots. When you only identify with a materialistic view of yourself, it is as if who you are is only a single leaf on a tree. And that would mean that you are just a single small leaf on a tree, but being buffeted by the winds of life. But if you were to realize that you are connected to the trunk, and the trunk is connected to the roots, that would do something special for you. All your insecurities will fall away because you are rooted, you are connected to the roots, and that you are part of this whole magnificent system called life. So the way you use the power of thoughts determines your experiences. And that will give you the freedom to take the responsibility on your experiences. So when you realize that whatever feeling you might have comes from the power of thought, that will let you feel that you are no longer a victim of circumstances or people. You will not feel any longer vulnerable, defensive. In fact, you feel secure because you no longer misunderstand where your feelings coming from. So I want to share with you a story that is coming from a book called It's That Simple, A User's Manual for Human Beings by Mavis Karn. Not sure if you can see, this is the book. So it's called A Story About Buses. I was brought up in a family that, for as far back as I can remember, shared the belief that any time a bus came by, we had to get on it and ride it wherever it was going. We didn't know that we believed that. It was simply a way of life to us that we never questioned. I, along with the rest of my family, spent most of my working hours on buses, spent most of my money on bus fares, and found myself frequently lost and wandering around places I didn't want to be, and wondering why I was always so tired and joyless and confused. One morning, as I was standing at the bus stop ready for another long day of bus rides ahead, a man I've never seen before said to me, "Excuse me, but why are you always riding the buses?" Well, I said somewhat defensively, "Everyone knows what buses are for, to ride. My whole family has always ridden them all day long, sometimes even all night long. We don't even sleep." He looked at me as though I was the one who was strange. "That's not what buses are for," he said. "They are for getting you where you want to go. Haven't you noticed that everyone doesn't always ride every bus?" The man was beginning to annoy me with his peculiar ideas, so I ignored him and I climbed on the very next bus that came along. One day, while I was feeling particularly tired, frustrated, and a little bit hopeless about my life, I looked out the bus window and saw people walking, sitting, laughing, talking, and just simply enjoying themselves. I very much wanted to feel what they seemed to be feeling. I decided to see what would happen if I just once let the bus go by without getting on it. As I sat at the bus stop, I saw the next bus coming, and I looked around nervously to see if anyone from my family could see me. Instead of getting on, I let the bus go by. It was a very strange, unfamiliar, and somewhat confusing sensation. Then another bus came by, and another, but I let them all go by. It was still awkward and unfamiliar, but I was getting easier and easier. Soon, I noticed that I still had the money I would have spent on those buses, and I hadn't gotten lost once all day. In fact, the more buses I didn't get on, the more energy I had. Then along came a bus that was on its way to where I wanted to go, so I jumped on. I got off at my destination, and all of a sudden, I knew that the stranger at the bus stop had been right. Buses are just there to help me get where I want to go, and I don't have to ride the ones that will get me lost or take me to places I don't want to be. There was nothing wrong with me or even with buses. I had just believed something that turned out to be untrue. So it is with our thoughts. Some of them help us to get where we want to go, and some of them takes us to places where we don't want to be. We don't have to hold on every thought that is coming into our heads. And Mavis went to say that human beings are the only creators on earth free to hang on to a thought or dismiss it. Human beings have both natural, healthy, creative, useful thinking, and we've learned habitual, sometimes helpful, but many times harmful thinking. And when we don't realize the nature of our thinking, we feel at the mercy of our thoughts, doomed to think them over and over and over again, doomed to experience the natural consequences of our negative thought habits and emotionally painful experiences. So when we calm down and our heads is clear, we return to our natural wisdom, our common sense, our innate well-being. Here is where we make good decisions, we have good relationships, we do our work with effortless ease, we just simply enjoy our life. Sometimes we forget and we get on the wrong bus. But you know what? We can always get off and come home again. If something in this video resonates and you want to further explore for yourself, in the video description, there is a link to my website. You are welcome to get in touch and book a free discovery call. It says 20 minutes, but we can take longer if needed. And remember, sometimes only one single thought and insight can change our life. Thanks for watching.